people there, heal them, keep them safe, Lord, and keep us all safe as we travel back and forth on busy highways. And Lord, just guide and direct as only you can, because you're in control of all things. In Christ's name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen. It should have been construction highways, textile. Join us in pledge of allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you. All right, I have one citizen comments. Patty Long on 5.2. Patty, you wanna
speak on the agenda item?
wait till get to the agenda? Or you wanna do it now?
I can do it now.
Okay, come on up. Make sure that microphone's on there.
Does this lift?
Yeah, that list. That's my invention.
It's a good one.
30 years ago.
Engineering miracle.
The mic is on there. Pull that mic up a little closer, Patty, please.
Okay.
And you have 3 minutes to make your citizen comment.
Okay. My name is Patty Long. Is that good?
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm coordinator for the English as a Second Language, or ESL, program at the Mont Bellevue Library. And I appreciate the opportunity to address the court this morning and share a few words about the needs of the ESL program in Chambers County, but I'm speaking specifically for the Mont Bellevue area. Over the past 3 years, which we began the program 3 years ago, our program has worked diligently to improve the English language skills of non-English speakers in the area. At that time, during that time, we have welcomed approximately 70 adults who have come through the program. We began a new program new class yesterday, and we had 12 people show up for that, which it will increase. Each of these students, each of these English language learners has come to us with a shared goal, and that is to build stronger communication skills. Most of these are women, younger women, who have children in the public school system, and they want to be able to communicate with teachers. Some of them want to be able to get jobs, and others just want to integrate into our community, but they realize they can't do it without learning an adequate level of English. So, as our area continues to experience explosive growth, the demand for English is going to only increase. Our classes are currently supported by volunteers. I lead the classes, and generally I have 1 to 2 volunteers who are helping, but we know that volunteer time can be varied. And we depend upon volunteers for a consistent and healthy program. So, in order to strengthen our program and to grow the program, I am respectfully requesting, and I think you have this information before you, a set of laptops to use during ESL sessions. They're available at the library, but we would be able to use them during our ESL sessions, and a subscription for a structured ESL curriculum. These resources will help us to provide digital literacy and individualized instruction without the necessity for volunteers. So laptops with appropriate software would be the answer to all the problems that we're experiencing now. And on a personal note, I will say that almost 2 years ago, the ESL director for the Barbers Hill school system contacted me and asked if I would be willing to expand the program because so many parents are unable to communicate. At the time, I said, "I'm sorry, I'm by myself, I'm unable to do this." She reached out again and said, "We have such a need, and it would be very helpful if we had an organization in the community who's able to teach the adults how to communicate." So There's nothing I would love more than to see the Barbers Hill School system and our library system working hand in hand to provide this vital need.
Thank you,
Thank you.
ma'am. We'll go ahead and go to that item. Sam, are you there? Yes, sir. All right, let's go to 5.2, discuss and consider allocating $36,585 in ARPA, American Rescue Plan Act funds to support adult education programs at the Chambers County Library System.
So this is kind of the brainchild of Commissioner Gore and the ladies at the library system. We have the funds available to be allocated towards this. I think it's a great program, pretty cut and dry in my opinion. I definitely recommend that you approve this.
Yes, Judge, I met with Ms. Long and our library ladies, and we're doing ESL, English Second Language. We're gonna do a GED class, and we're doing a citizenship class. All this will be lumped together within this segment here. The ARPA funds will pay for this year for the computers, 20 computers to get everything going. There's a huge need for all three of these within Chambers County, across Chambers County.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's a great.
So the computers will be in all the.
Yes, we'll be able to. We're buying 20 right now, and once we get it going in Anahuac and East Chambers over there, that we'll be able to split these computers up and utilize them in each area for these classes. So I mean, it's gonna be a great deal. I mean,
Computers and the charging cabinets too.
Yeah.
Which are a critical part of that. Obviously, the computers have to stay charged.
And the program.
And the program, yep.
So,
And we've worked out logistics on our end. They've got what they wanted. They've worked with IT to get all of that vetted and approved. So it'll be just a matter of you guys approving the funding and then Aaron and his crew doing what they are so good at, and then we'll write the checks.
Motion for approval, Judge.
Second, Your Honor.
Motion by Commissioner Gore, second by Commissioner Tice. Any questions? Aaron, you got a question? You look kinda like,
He was just confused because I name
cause you
dropped him.
complimented him?
Yeah, that's abnormal.
I got a motion second. Any other questions, comments? Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Thank you, ladies, for all you do.
Thank y'all.
Thank you, Miss Long. Sam, real quick, we got a public comment.
We'll go to 5.1 too, so stay there, Sam. Go ahead.
We're still on public comment.
We're still on 5.2, but you can make the public comment.
Okay. You already did 5.2.
Do what?
You already did 5.2?
Yeah.
Okay.
But you don't make a public comment?
Okay. No,
Go for it.
we had a ribbon cutting yesterday for our recycle
I was
collection
scared.
site, so appreciate everybody that could make it over there. So we've got the program back underway, so we put our collection boxes out on January 2nd at 3 of our sites, collection sites, West Side, Anahuac, and Winnie. More to come shortly, hopefully in near future. Sam and her group will be rolling out a lot of information on recycling and what we can recycle and how to recycle and all that, so really excited about that. We partnered with Talkay on that facility over there. Everything's finished, it's in use now, so really excited to see that. Let's get to that point, so.
Yeah, Tonky and the city of Mont Bellevue and Exxon Mobil, I mean, it's
Yeah,
really.
we have a big group
partnership.
that's in that, Cyclex.
Yeah. I took some notes yesterday while we had the ribbon cutting. I was pretty interested to learn some of that. I've been part of it for a while, but I was really interested to learn some of the terminology and things that we're going to be able to accomplish. I mean, if you've heard me talk about it, I keep saying we want in Chambers County to be the spark that starts the flame for the region. And this model that we've worked on, thanks to Commissioner Hammond, like the judge said yesterday, really pushing hard for this.
I said he's hard-headed as hell.
I was going to be nicer
Okay.
than that because he does sign my check. He worked really hard on this, and it's the P3 model that we've implemented using some taxpayer dollars, but huge buy-in from Talkay and from ExxonMobil and City of Mont Bellevue. This is a really great way to re-implement recycling because, as you all know, and maybe the public isn't as aware, solid waste is a very expensive business to be in. We don't make money on that. This is a service that we provide at cost to the residents. There's no profit to be made here. We don't even come close to breaking even. So we have to have partnerships like these in order to provide services like recycling. But some of the things that I thought were pretty interesting is that, we're going to take all plastics. Anything that looks like plastic can be recycled. It's going to really take the burden off of the residents, because they're not gonna have to sort through and look at the number and is this a 2 or a 3 or a 1? Can I recycle it? Anything that looks like plastic, even down to juice boxes or kind of the coated juice boxes, can be recycled. All residents have to do is put it in a trash bag, and bring it to one of the 3 sites that we're currently collecting at. If we get enough response, we'll roll that out to others, and then they throw it in the bin, and that's it, and we take it from there. We're taking plastic items that used to not be able to be recycled, and we're putting those back into the stream. And I thought it was really interesting that the lady from Cyclics mentioned that what we're hoping to achieve is that plastics aren't seen as a byproduct anymore, but as a resource. And so these are things that can be turned into building materials, into fabric, into things that we use every single day. And as a very large plastics manufacturing area, that's really critical for us to be able to not only develop that plastic to start with, but to recycle it. So I think it's a great program. We're going to be rolling out a lot of information. Like Commissioner Hammond said, we've got handouts that our box site attendants will be giving directly to residents as they come in. We've got a lot of signage. It's going to be in our magazine. So we're really, really pushing this, and we hope that all of you in this room will partake, and then also all of our residents as well.
So what box sites again have the recycling?
West Side, Anahuac, and the Winnie Stove site.
Yeah, we did a limited
3 big
rollout. Yeah, our
Yeah.
3 big ones did a limited rollout to make sure that staff could handle it, and that we had the equipment and the boxes themselves. I know that Brooke and Purchasing worked with Debbie to get new boxes ordered, because the ones we have are kind of outdated. So, but yeah, we're really, really excited, and Toffee's awesome. They're really receptive and helpful and easy to work with, so this is really going to be great.
So Klein, if you buy your whiskey in a plastic bottle, you can recycle it.
As long as it looks like plastic.
Yeah.
Put it in a bag though, please. Oh, we are also just, gonna be proactive in that we will have plastic bags on site for anybody if they show up and they've got all their they don't have it in a bag. We're gonna have a stand with plastic bags that people can take one, just to kind of make it even easier. So
Good.
we're really trying here.
So in that whole facility that we just opened, Toffee is running that at their cost. There's no cost to the county to do that. We didn't hire any additional employees. There's no additional funding needed. We built the site.
Yeah.
They're gonna run it, maintain it, all that, so.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah,
And it is named Chambers County Recycling Center.
It is.
yes it is.
Yes, and our entire collaboration is the Chambers County Recycling Collaboration. So.
It should have been the Tommy Hammond Chambers County.
Well,
No, there's a lot more people than me involved in that, so. They all made me look good.
And that's tough to do, isn't it?
It is.
Alright, thank you.
Thank
Sam,
you,
you
Sam.
stay there, 5.1, discuss and consider approving change order number 1 for CDBG MIT mod project for the drainage work on North Main and Texas Avenue.
So when we did the bid for this, 4 manholes were left out of the original bid. So that's what this is doing, is adding them back in. I will tell y'all that we're about $2 million under budget on this project. So things came in way under. So even with this change order, we're gonna finish substantially under budget. And next Commissioner's Court, I'm coming back and actually change ordering another $50,000 out of this. So we're adding a little bit, but next 2 weeks from now, I'll be back taking more money out. So we're gonna finish way under budget.
Good.
Motion for approval.
Second, Your Honor.
Motion by Commissioner Gore, second by Commissioner Tice. Any questions? Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Sam.
Thank you guys. Have a great day.
Thanks, Sam.
Alright, back to the top. 4.1, discuss and consider approving a resolution authorizing the execution of an advanced funding agreement with Texas Department of Transportation for the I-10 ramp relocation between SH 146 FN 565 project. Zach, you out there?
I'm back here, yes sir.
Good morning.
Morning, how are y'all?
Good.
So 4.1. So this is just the AFA to basically help us in TxDOT, basically for TxDOT oversee this project. I know the city and the county are both working on this together. This project will basically relocate and flip 6 ramps and then add 2 new additional ones. Is kind of what the plan is so far. It's still subject to change. This is just to help us go along with the AFA process.
Okay. Questions? So Natalie's still working for us, even though she deserted us to city of Mont Bellevue,
I
right?
told y'all I wasn't deserting y'all. Y'all just don't wanna talk to me no more.
Yeah, we did.
Hey, morning, Natalie. Yeah, Natalie has been 100% involved in this process, and she has been a tremendous helped us. You know, we're kinda limited on resources with everything we have going on. You know, our department, so, City of Mount Bellevue stepped up and offered some help to kinda keep pressure on TxDOT for this project, so, a lot of people involved in it, and, we're pushing just as hard as we can push, so.
Yes, the city has been a great help in this.
Motion by Commissioner Hammond,
Second, Judge.
second by Commissioner Dagley. Any questions? Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Zach, before we leave it, can you kinda explain what's gonna happen with this project?
So as of right now, we're planning on looking at, I think it's 6 or 8 ramps, right? We're looking at 8 ramps. Now, we're looking at configuration and locations as well. But basically we're flipping some ramps to help alleviate pressure off of the signal on 3180, helping get people onto 1409 so they're not having to go through that signal, as well as multiple other ramps like closer to 565, both north and or eastbound and westbound sides, so it's not just one side. It's a lot of it's going to be helpful for alleviating traffic, basically backing up on the frontage road and onto I-10, and then alleviate some people having to do a bunch of roundabouts and U-turns. So
Great, thank you.
Great.
Alright, 4.2, discuss and consider donating property to the city of Mont Bellevue for Lake Road Extension and Expansion Project.
yes, so the county owns 2 pieces of property there that the city is looking for their Langston Drive right away. I will also help give this to Natalie because they are the ones that are
So
explaining
to
the
go
project.
from 99 to 146.
Yes, from 99 to 146. Help better explain the project because that is their project.
Natalie, state your name for the record, please.
Natalie Lopez. So I'm just gonna start off with saying I have Bobby's blessing, therefore I think it's ready for an approval. I'm kidding.
That's a good point.
Essentially, y'all have the right of ways and fees, and I need those to be conveyed over to the city. We're currently working on expanding Langston from 146 essentially all the way to Eagle Drive. Right now we have under construction from Franklin all the way to 99, and we have under design from 99 all the way to where Langston dead ends right now. And I have exhibits just to kind of give you an idea of what exactly we're discussing today. And I have been working with Dwayne and his team in reviewing the deeds and the surveys. So with that, I'm ready for any questions that y'all may have.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Judge, may I make a comment?
Yes, sir.
I question, this is the end down toward where used to be the park, all right? I question about from there back to 146. I'm not sure, but I think we might own that in fee, Langston, and we need to go ahead and convey, make this completely all Mont Bellevue, just convey that too, but we're gonna check to make sure we own it in fee so we can do that. Understand?
Semi.
In other words, all this is dealing in is down toward where the park used to be.
Mm-hmm.
But now Langston goes all the way back to 146, and I think we own that in fee. I'll have to look to make sure. And if that's the case, then we convey from 146 down to what these conveyances are, and convey all the Langston to
Yeah,
them.
they would take over maintenance and everything with it.
That's right.
So you're
Yes,
saying
that's
conveying all that?
Essentially what he's saying is right now we're just talking about
Yeah.
this piece
From here to here.
right here, but the remaining piece that ties into 146, y'all potentially still have it in fee, and if we're cleaning it up, might as well clean up the whole corridor.
That would have to be brought back to court.
Yes.
I don't see why we wouldn't do that.
No, I don't either.
I agree.
Alright, entertain a motion.
So moved, Your Honor.
Motion by Commissioner Hamlin, second by Commissioner Tice. Questions?
Natalie, do you have the parcel numbers for
Yes.
property?
Yeah, I can send you that.
Yeah, we'll need that for court record,
So,
Okay.
please.
Yes, sir.
Bobby, you gonna put that on this court for us to do that? Or
Zach,
Zach?
Yes.
Zach.
There you are, Zach.
We'll have it on the next quarter.
Thank you, sir.
We'll make sure that we own person.
Yeah,
Yes.
Bobby will do that. Alright, got a motion and a second. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, those in favor? Opposed?
Thank y'all.
Motion carries. Thank you,
Natalie,
ma'am.
good to see you, happy New Year.
4.3, discuss, consider going out for bids on Woodland Acres drainage clearing project. Zach?
Yes, so this is what we had discussed in the last court. I know we spoke to George and Commissioner Hammond about this. This is just for us to go out for bid on that project.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Hammond, second by Commissioner Dagley. Questions? Those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Zach.
Thank you.
6.1, discuss and consider naming the park in Beach City, the Beach City Memorial Park. Commissioner Dagley.
Yeah, this is just to take the new park that we're building at the City Hall or our Big City Community Building and officially naming it the Big City Memorial Park. At that location, 20 years ago, they have a Veterans Memorial that the city built there in front of the building. And as you all know, there's also going to be a second memorial that's for bike safety and pedestrian safety that Commissioner Combs was going to put off-site but connected to the park. And so I thought it would be fitting to name it the Beach City Memorial Park.
I like that.
I do too.
Motion by Commissioner Dagley.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Tice. Looks good. I've been by there a few times.
Looks real good.
Looks really, really nice. Alright, any other questions? Those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
Man, that ain't cost me money.
Yeah.
Free.
7.1, discuss and consider approving change order number 1 to Carter Construction, the new Chambers County Soccer Complex, amount of $15,282.64 due to groundwater infiltration during the installation of foundation piers. Mike, taking it?
Yes, sir. Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. So, this was 2 piers on the southwest corner of the community center, the new community center, drilling piers. We hit a significant amount of groundwater and had some very good response. Our SEL, our engineer of record, was there that next day, but we found a solution, not cheap and not free, but we did find a solution and got the piers poured, slabs down. We're pouring tilt walls now.
Need to be done.
Yes, and this was done as an emergency report, making sure that we know. I had the call saying we couldn't hold up, we need to get it done ASAP. I knew it be needing a change order. Speaking to Mike and his group, we got it done, got it finished. This work is done. We need to pay this money. Best way to put it.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Dagley, second by Commissioner Gore. Any questions? Those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. 10.1, discuss and consider emergency services assessment presentation by Emergency Services Solutions. Good morning, Ryan.
Good morning, everyone. So, some time back, the court approved us doing this assessment, bringing in an outside person, obviously not from the area, in the business, many years, to bring a fresh perspective, put some outside eyes on it and give some recommendations. So, obviously, this isn't set in stone, of course. It's just some recommendations that someone gave for the court to consider as a long-term plan. So I won't take up any more of your time. Chris Baring with Emergency Services Solution is going to give the presentation since he prepared the report.
Thank you, Ryan.
Good morning.
Good morning, Judge. Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Chris Barron. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. I am the CEO of Emergency Services Solutions. I've been in emergency services 35 years, and we were asked to do this assessment of emergency services for you guys. Let's see what's going on here. All right. I am a current fire chief outside of the city of Austin. I run an ESD, Emergency Services District, for South Austin. Basically, we have a huge auto aid system within Travis and Williamson County, providing the closest unit response. Very progressive fire department that provides fire and EMS protection to citizens of South Austin. A little bit about me. All right, so part of our study here, we looked at station locations, we looked at fire service and EMS services and the services they provide to your citizens. We looked at the ISO Public Protection Classification System and how the rating system compares to other area fire departments. We also looked at the current level of fire department membership and activity level within your county. Along with, we're going to be working with Ryan and staff to create a strategic plan for you guys once you decide on which route you want to go with recommendations that we made. All right, so just basically, you already know this, but the county locations of fire stations are kind of all over the map. For the most part, a good demographic distribution of fire stations across the county. The EMS service is a little bit more limited, and we would, one of the recommendations we're going to recommend is coming out with a third ambulance station, primarily on the north side of the county, to offer a little bit of an in-between the west and the east, so that you can provide coverage in a quick format off of I-10 and be able to get to the east or west in a pretty quick route. All right, so an ISO is the grading system for fire and emergency services that is out there that grades a fire department based on your water supply, your communication system, and of course the fire department. It looks at your activity level within the fire department, it looks at equipment, it looks at apparatus, and their response is strictly to fires in your county. An ISO, which is a private organization, basically provides the rating system for the entire state of Texas and all across the country to have insurance ratings based on that rating system. ISO Class 1 is the best, i.e. Houston Fire Department or Baytown. They're an ISO Class 1. 10 is the worst. 10 is like basically providing zero fire protection to your citizens. As you can see here, in your particular county, you have a rating system or rates all the way from 6 to a Class 2 to a Class 1 for the city of Baytown, and everywhere in between. For example, Mount Bellevue, they're Class 2. Very good rating system, very good rate, and they're proposing a second station which will help them get a Class 1. Not too bad of a system for a rural community, but for an urban community and a suburban community, we would like to see those numbers a little bit better along the 5s and the 3s for ratings. And what does that take? That it takes a commitment to infrastructure. It takes a commitment to not only your water supply, but to your apparatus and your fire departments to provide those services. Overall, we've seen pretty much an increase in call volume for all fire departments across the county, as y'all already know and probably suspected that. We've seen a little bit of a decline in some of the fire departments, but for the most part over the last 4 years, we've seen an increase. We did not include Mount Bellevue in this. We didn't get their 4 years worth of call volume, but for the last 2 years, we've seen an increase in call volume. It's just pretty typical of Texas these days with everybody moving into Texas and finding a spot to make their new home, which it means is going to cause an increase in call volume. So let's take a look at this. What we found out is that for the most part, most all your fire departments have apparatus that is almost beyond useful life. The typical average fire department apparatus years of service is 20 years. Your average, for the most part, is 18 years of service. So as you can see, the mark is right there on the edge of going out of service and being unuseful to anything. That means it's poorly maintained, or it has a lot of maintenance and overhead costs. It's lacking all sorts of safety systems that's current with current National Fire Protection Association recommendations. The biggest other thing we've seen that fire departments complain on a regular basis is staffing, obviously. With volunteer fire departments, staffing is a huge challenge. In the last 2 decades across the entire nation, we've seen about a 20% decrease in the amount of volunteerism in volunteer fire departments. Same for Texas. We see the same exact thing in Texas where volunteerism is going down. People just don't want to volunteer anymore, or they've got little Johnny's baseball they're going to, or they're going to, some other commitments or multiple jobs. What that means is that you have a response time of greater than 8 to 10 minutes, or you have no response at all, and we'll point that out here in a little bit as we go through a little bit of the report. We have fire departments that like to have a roster of anywhere from 18 to 30 on their roster on their roster, but actually, in reality, only about half of that are even active. So they're carrying all this extra people on their roster, and they're paying insurance, they're paying workers' comp, but they're not getting rid of them because they're not holding their active level status accountable to those volunteer fire departments. So it's something that the fire departments need to work on. They don't like to fire a volunteer, but oftentimes you have to in order to free up protective equipment, in order to free up funding, which goes towards insurance and other things. Constrained funding, as you know, is a big thing with fire departments. Nothing cheap in the fire service, as y'all know. We used to see our first brand new fire truck when we got our very first one was $150,000 for a brand new fire truck. Now you're looking at $980,000 for a basic brand new fire truck. It's not cheap. There is nothing cheap about it. The equipment that we put into our personnel ranges close to $7,000 to $10,000 now, between coat, pants, boots, helmet, radio or pager. Now with cell phones, we get those calls on our cell phones, but it costs a lot of money to outfit a firefighter. There were some communication concerns amongst the fire departments when we did our assessment with the radio system. In building coverage, we typically want to see where a firefighter, when they're wearing the radio on their side and they're in building fighting a fire, they have the ability to communicate with the outside world, with dispatch, with their fellow firefighters. And oftentimes we see where different radio systems, whether it's an 800 system or VHF system, will have those constraints with the radio system. So one of the recommendations we have is to make sure that whether you hire another consultant or you get your radio system to make sure that that in-building coverage is there for those firefighters. It's nothing worse than to have a firefighter go down due to a fire and they can't talk and they can't call for help. The good news about this is you've got a very dedicated amongst a group of people within these fire departments. They do it for the right reasons. The comments we heard was, we just want to give back to the community. We just want to take care of our people and our community. We just want to respond to emergencies. Sometimes they can't due to constraints, but for the most part they have the right attitude. So some of the things we identified also is within the county infrastructure that we want to point out is, number one, the water system. If I were you all, I would take a look at your water system throughout the entire county. A lot of the fire departments complained that they would hook up to hydrants and it would take forever to fill up their trucks. In one particular case, I believe it was Beach City, 27 minutes to fill up a fire truck. That's just kind of unheard of because it's just not enough gallons coming out of that hydrant. Or in other cases, dry hydrants that actually have no water. We pulled into one apartment complex and we were pointed out a dry hydrant in Cove, and there was no water hooked up to the dry hydrant. It was hooked to a pond that had zero water in it. So for a fire department to try and fight a fire in an apartment complex and they hook up to a dry hydrant to be able to suck water out, there's no water. So you're up the creek there at that point in time, right? Trying to ask for water to come in from tenders and things of that nature. We saw multiple subdivisions with no water system whatsoever. $1 million homes within Beach City and Cove that we saw that it's like, and there's no fire hydrant anywhere around. They'd have to go a long way to get water to fill up their trucks. We also saw one of the things, and we've seen this in Travis County, where back in 2011 we had the big fires, wildland fires, Steiner Ranch fire. These individuals who lived in this nice community, they only had one way in and one way out. And so when the fire cut off that one way in and one way out, those homeowners were basically stuck. And they were stuck with air resources coming in to help fight fires, so there was no other way out. And so one of the new codes that we put in place was the Wildland Urban Interface Code to allow for multiple ways in and multiple ways out. Something to think about in your particular case with hurricanes and things of that nature that come and wreak havoc on you all. Some of the other things we saw, we already mentioned the countywide radio system, but the countywide facilities. The buildings that you own are far beyond their useful life, or they saw direct life safety hazards that we need to get corrected for the safety of the firefighters that operate out of those fire stations. And one of our recommendations is to advise staff, whether it's the fire marshal or building facilities, that, hey, we need to go do some life safety checks at our own facilities and get those problems fixed. Some options for improvement. We wanted to provide you options so that you can think about which way we want to go to better serve our community, to provide increased level of response for our community members. First one is consolidation of services. As you all know, we are stretched for trying to do everything these days, and some fire departments can't do it all. They just don't have the resources. So we've seen a lot all over the country where they might have a few square miles, but yet they don't have the staff available anymore. And so you have to look at consolidation of services, whether it's combining fire departments with one another, whether it's combining services with one another, or otherwise. Up in our neck of the woods in Travis County, we actually share a service with another fire department to provide maintenance on our fleet. They already have a shop, and so we just send our fire trucks to their shop, another fire department shop, because we can't afford it otherwise. Another option for providing better services to allow Chambers County Emergency Services, Ryan and his staff, to provide some of those fire and emergency medical services to the citizens. You already have a great EMS system. I'm not saying anything bad about your EMS system, but on the fire side, there's a lot of room for improvement. There's a lot of no response calls where the fire department was toned out and nobody went. Even in your own backyard right here. Anahuac specifically, I think their no response rate was about 30%. And so I think there is a lot of room for improvement there, whether it's consolidation or allowing somebody else to provide those services for you. The healthcare system here, great. I think there's some expansion room available to provide better medical services to the community, whether it is through a community healthcare intervention program, intermediary program that allows for a paramedic in a suburban to go take care of Mrs. Smith when she is calling 911 for a headache or calling 911 because she fell. Rather than sending an ambulance out and tying up that ambulance for an hour or so, send a paramedic in a Suburban or a Tahoe and allow them to take care of Mrs. Smith so that that ambulance remains in service for the true medical emergency calls. Another option that you might consider is providing these fire departments a standardized apparatus configuration so that when Handcammer goes to Beach City and Beach City goes to Oak Island, they're all the same type of standard apparatus. You can get better buying power. Everybody knows how to operate those apparatus, whether it's in Anahuac, whether it's in Beach City, whether it's in Handcammer. It's all standardized. And you can get better buying power when you go out to buy those apparatus if you want to choose that route. Another thing that would greatly help you all, and I don't think the fire departments are quite there ready yet, but is a countywide automatic aid system. You have a countywide mutual aid system right now, which means that if I go out, if I get dispatched for a call, and I get to the call and I need help, I call on the radio, say, hey, send me mutual aid from my neighboring fire department. An automatic aid system, on the other hand, is automatically dispatched. So it'd be dispatching multiple fire departments at the same exact time to the same incident. Faster unit response, more effective firefighting force on the scene, better ISO gradings if you have an automatic aid system within multiple fire departments. Great thing to have. We have it up in Travis County, Williamson County. It's a multi-county automatic aid system. So, some of our recommendations in our findings, and I'll get into the report a little bit here in a second, is that you've got to identify some short and long-term goals and some short and long-term plans. None of this is going to happen overnight, commissioners and judge. This is going to take some time, but it's all doable. Some of the things that we already pointed out is identify the immediate life safety concerns within your county buildings, your county fire stations. Verify that radio coverage. That's a simple thing that can be done. Enhance your access to the computer-aided dispatch, which allows the sheriff's office to be able to give information out to the fire departments in an electronic format. That also means it cuts down on radio traffic. It cuts down on, hey, I don't know where I'm going, because it'll automatically route the fire department to the call. It cuts down on a lot of miscellaneous stuff that is available right there because it's already captured in a data format. Consider consolidation of fire departments, and a lot of fire departments don't like the word consolidation. Be honest with you, don't care for it either, but in the business sense, you've got to do it because it just makes common sense to do it. There's ways to go about doing that, and with 501c3 fire departments, you can do that. It's a combining of services. Enhance your EMS service, I think that's an easy, low-hanging fruit for you all. Offering that community intervention or community healthcare paramedic program. And then expanding the requirements for when fire departments come to you and ask for funding, you have a little bit more, they have a little bit more teeth in the game when you ask them, hey, we need to see your annual audit, we need to see your annual budget, we need to see that you're doing background checks on all your personnel. So I think there is some room for improvement there. All right. Any questions? That was a quick, brief overview. I can quickly go through some of the highlights of the report if you like. You should all have it in front of you. Some of you might have read it, some of you might not have yet. What would you like? Be glad to answer questions too.
The SFFMA membership, what benefit is that to the fire department? Because I see that majority of them are not members. And the couple that were, let their membership expire. So.
In Texas, there's basically two organizations which regulate firefighters. One of which is what's called the Commission on Fire Protection. They regulate the paid fire service, and some volunteers that want to be volunteer regulated. The SFFMA is the other arm of that provides a certification program for volunteer firefighters. It helps you not only on your ISO grading, but it has a legislative representation for those fire departments, provides AD&D and LODD benefits, and provides resources such as discounts on books and other training products. A lot of the fire departments have let their membership lapse, and I used to be the executive director for the association because they just couldn't afford it. Their dues went up several years ago to about $200 a year, and now they actually have a grant which helps pay those dues. But some of the fire departments it's an administrative thing. They just have elected to let it drop.
If in the future, which I've discussed this with Ryan, the county decided to do a fire department, and we're looking at building the fire department in Anahuac, and we'd have to build sleeping quarters and everything, preparing for the future. If we decided to do that, how do you integrate paid firemen with the volunteers? How would you integrate that to where they could work together?
You can't treat them any differently. In the world of the fire service, you can't treat a volunteer any different than the paid fire service. The volunteers have to have the same expectations, the same type of certifications and training as that paid firefighter. But you have to allow the flexibility for that volunteer firefighter to come in on weekends or at the nighttime, evening hours to be able to train with those paid staff members. It is totally doable. It's done all the time in combination fire departments all across the country. It's just a matter of you making sure that everybody knows where their place is, that the volunteers don't get any type of different gear than the paid staff. They don't have the lower class fire truck. They provide the same level of service, they just don't get paid for it.
Okay, how do you, and I'm just saying this, how do you take the equipment that a volunteer organization has, if it's up to the standards of what a paid fire department needs? How do you take that equipment and integrate it for the county use? Can you do that?
You could, but as we pointed out in the very beginning, their apparatus is just beyond useful life. It's not even up to the regulated standards within the fire service. You'd have to do some investment in apparatus first and equipment.
So there's a plan out there that explains how to integrate.
Sure.
Because like I said, I mean, I take my hat off to all of our volunteers, because I mean, we couldn't do it without them.
That's right.
But I mean, the way our county is growing in Mid County, I mean, we have an ESD in Winnie, which is paid, and they have full-time firemen there. But in Mid County, we're really lacking on the volunteerism, and the ones that are doing it for the right reason. But I mean, they're stretched from can to can, and I mean, so I think future down the road, that's something we're going to have to look at, and we're going to have a plan, which I think you could help us implement, how to integrate the two, so I mean, everybody is being respected in the same way.
I totally agree, and right now you don't have any facility that allows for the ability for a volunteer to spend the night at a station, which would allow for paid staff integration type of thing. Mount Bellevue and the ESD over here are the only two that have a facility that allows that overnight sleeping quarters. You've got to first have the facility in order to do that, to allow that integration to start taking place, and allowing those volunteers to pull shifts in a volunteer capacity.
I think Commissioner Dagby and I have been working on that with Brian and had someone look at our fire departments, and we have a halfway plan moving forward, so just need to integrate some future
Sure.
plans within that department.
Definitely.
So whatever you decide to do.
I agree. Commissioners and Judge, I'd like to point out just a few things within the report itself. On page 2, I want to let you know that Chambers County alone has received over $2.2 million worth of state grants that was released this year, or excuse me, last year, 2025, from the Texas A&M Forest Service through an emergency funding program that the state put into place. That basically equates to most all of your fire departments are getting a new water tender, bringing water to your citizens, 3,000 gallons or more, and some brush trucks. So that's a good thing, right? We had some help from the state to come in and help these fire departments out with buying equipment. The bad news is that unfortunately $300,000 don't buy you much of a fire truck anymore. What I was told is that some of the fire departments are struggling with getting a water tender for less than $450,000. In fact, Beach City recently got a new water tender, and then they got this grant, and because of how the Texas Forest Service rules work, they were ready to decline the grant because you can't accept a grant for an apparatus you've already purchased. And so I was able to intervene and talk with the folks at the Forest Service. Look, this fire department, Beach City, just got this fire truck within the last 6 months. Can you make an exception to the rules? And they said yes, if they would plead their case, we would make an exception to allow them to accept that $300,000 for their fire truck. And so we contacted Beach City back. They were very happy. They were pleading the case to the Forest Service, so hopefully Beach City will be able to get that money for the truck they've already put on loan for their community. On page 11, there is a lot of room for improvement for obviously these fire departments, as you know, a lot of room for improvement in ISO, and that's going to take a lot of commitment from you all and the county to invest in local community assets. On page 14, just real quickly, I'll point out a couple of things. This is Anahuac itself. And I was a volunteer firefighter, don't get me wrong. I was a volunteer firefighter for 20 plus years before I became a paid firefighter and a paid chief. But in this particular case, Anahuac has a 46% no unit response, which means the tone goes out and nobody goes. And that's disturbing. So I'm hoping that we can help you guys get that resolved in some form or fashion. One of our biggest things that we've had with this particular project, and we started this back in August, is communication with the fire departments. Whether it is they're changing email addresses, they're changing phone numbers, or they just don't respond to us. I'll be honest with you, a lot of fire departments are very territorial and they take great pride in their fire department, and they don't want somebody coming in from the outside to point out some things that are obvious to them. I was once there, I understand. But our goal here is to help these fire departments. We want to help them. And sometimes the truth hurts in order to make progress to help them out. Handcamera on page 21 is a concern because Handcamera serves as a point of distribution for HEB when a hurricane hits. And Handcamera just doesn't have the facilities to serve as a pod, is what it's called, point of distribution. And so that was one of the concerns we pointed out. We also identified some life safety concerns within their own fire department, literally an exposed electric wire that was hooked up to an air compressor that was dangerous. And so I think you need to get your county folks over there to take care of that. Long response times, that was on page 26, Smith Point, 27 minutes in Smith Point to fill a water tender. That's a long time to fill a fire truck. Fire doubles in size every 4 to 6 minutes. And so that's a huge thing. Lastly, the health service tax that you all have, I think there is definitely a lot of funding there that can be utilized for improving emergency services, emergency medical services specifically. That fund is specifically for emergency medical services, so I think some enhancement to the EMS system will go a long way to provide better services to your community. And with that being said, any more questions?
Anybody? I don't think so.
No comment. So I don't really appreciate the fire department's not responding to this. You know, our funding, so we give the fire departments $100,000 a year, each and every one of them.
Yes, sir.
So there's some expectations there with that, you know. And this right here, to me, not responding is not acceptable for many of them. So we're trying to make this thing better, trying to figure out what's broke and how we fix it. So for that to happen is a little bit disturbing, so.
Yes, sir. We even came down for one of the county fire associations, and there was a vote that night to disband.
Yeah, they've actually disbanded.
They
that,
did.
So
I pleaded with them to stay together because it's going to do nothing but improve, and they voted to disband and do the opposite. But that's kind of what we faced, Commissioner.
They just continue to distance themselves from each
Yes,
other.
sir.
So
Yes.
instead of trying to come together and put together, because that's what the whole problem, the deal is. It's here to serve the citizens of Chambers County and give them fire protection. So that's our goal here. So this whole report, I've read this report yesterday. I know I missed a lot of stuff, but a lot of disturbing facts in here.
So why did they disband? Ryan, do you know?
Yeah, Jeffrey and I were there when they, it sounded like to me it had been something that had been in process for a couple of months. Essentially, the chairperson or president wasn't interested in doing it any longer, and he told them, I need someone else to step up and do it. And essentially no one wanted to do it, and I can't blame them for that, you know. And so no one wanted to do it, and so he finally was like, hey, I told y'all that, gave him another chance, and then they just decided to dissolve. And so something that we're going to do, that we've already, in fact, Jeffrey sent the email out this morning. You want to tell him about it?
Yes, it was his idea, so I'll let him tell about it. So since they decided that, essentially the president and I believe she was the treasury secretary said, hey guys, we got to do something different. We're going to go from meeting every month to meeting quarterly, but we're going to need, come December, we're going to need somebody to step in and take over. We're busy, we got things that we need to do. December rolled around, nobody came in, they disbanded, but in the process, I told them that we would facilitate at our facility a chiefs meeting to bring them together. So that email went out this morning. We'll have our first meeting February, I believe the 4th, that night at 6 o'clock to try to get them all together in a room. I started off as a volunteer in Mont Bellevue, and I saw that association from 2007 to what it was now, and it's been all over the board. And so I'm hopefully with us being able to facilitate this, that we get them kind of on board, talking to one another and moving in the right direction.
Okay. Appreciate that.
So with that, Jeffrey, so all these guys got grant money, almost all of them. So I think the conversation would be as a group, like, hey, what best serves our community if you buy this equipment and you buy this equipment?
Yes.
We need to have that conversation instead of everybody going and buying a tender. You know, we don't need 6 or 7 new tenders in the county.
Yes,
you know? They need to sit down and have that conversation as a group. You know, what do we need and what do we have and what do we need?
Correct.
Yeah, don't turn that 300,000 down. You know, come to the county and say, hey, we need a little more.
Yes, sir.
And let's look at it.
We'll do. And we'll have to look at the grant, because the grant may specify it's gotta be a tender. But I'll look into that between now and then and come up with a game plan to sit down with them. But
Have we spoke with Trina Bay, their water supplier in Smith Point? It's taking 27 minutes to fill a truck. Have we spoke with them to see what the issue is? Is it volume? Is it pressure? What's the issue in these locations and why it's taking so long to fill them? Is something wrong with the hydrant? I mean, because Trinity Bay maintains all of our fire hydrants.
And I know there's some hydrants in Winnie that we're having issues with.
Yeah, and-
I talked to Jerry about that.
Is it water pressure?
I mean, what's the issue?
That was specifically said about Smith Point, I believe.
It was.
And so I think the issue is just the volume and supply that makes its way down there. Without talking to Trinity Bay about it, that's what I think is essentially
Okay, so
the issue.
if you want to, and you can loop me in on it, please
Sure.
do. Let's get a group meeting together with Jerry and see what we can do. There may be some grant funds out there to put in some kind of booster pump or something to boost the pressure, or something. So let's work on that in the areas. The same way over in Cove. I mean, there's issues if we're having a dry pump on a pond, something like that. We need to address that. Whoever the water supplier is, I know there's multiple suppliers over there, though it's not one. So we need to go ahead and reach out and start addressing these issues. And it starts with y'all and then whatever commissioners in that precinct to help facilitate a conversation, whether that's with water supplier, with the mayor, or whoever it is, so we can get, because safety's number one. So if you can start that for me.
So, yeah, and I got a question real quick. So in some of our, in the West Chambers County, especially outside the Trinity Bay area, we have private community water systems.
Yes.
I think Undyne just bought the big one that was over there, Allen's Place, right? So in Commissioner Tice's precinct and Cove and some of Beach City, we have one street subdivisions or multiple street subdivisions with community water well, right? I mean, there's 2-inch lines or whatever their lines are. Is there a way for us to look and see if we can at least put 1 or 2 hydrants within those subdivisions?
Yes.
With a meter on them and just, because right now they're all, I mean, because
everywhere.
Because when Beach City negotiated on Fisher Road, when Commissioner Combs is here to get the fire hydrant at the station, it dramatically decreased the fill-up time instead of having to use the dry hydrant at Barrel Ranch, right? So now they have a designated location to hook up to and quickly fill their truck. And it gave a sense of, at least they know where to go get water and they know where the water supply is. But we have several subdivisions that if we can just help facilitate with the HOAs or with the water company for the county to put in a hydrant or 1 or 2 hydrants within these $1 million home subdivisions or $800,000 home subdivisions or $100,000 home subdivisions, wherever they're at, just to have a point of location to fill up.
Right.
I mean, we need to look into that.
And I think part of the problem may be, especially with those water well systems, I think these lines have to be a certain size.
And that's
Maybe
the
a 6
problem.
inch or 8 inch line to do a fire hydrant.
Yeah,
So
correct.
that's something we also
We need to
need
look
to,
at.
if there's grant money out there to help them upgrade their system to do that, we need to get on that.
Yeah, because the lines that I'm seeing out there now and talking to other people within Cove throughout my time as being commissioner, the water pressure's not gonna get there on the current condition.
No, it's not.
It's not.
And we had a fire in 2022 in Beach City, and a friend of mine's house burned down, and just what you had said, by the time the fire was almost extinguished, the tanker ran out of water. They went to Barrel Ranch, filled up, got back, and then it was back to square one, right? And it just burned to the ground. I mean, and there's I don't want to call it a joke, but there is a joke, is when it catches on fire, you just get what you need out, because it's going to go to the ground, because you cannot put a fire out on those size homes unless you're just really lucky in the get-go, right? Because of the fact that the point of getting the water was so far away at that time, and that's what helped create the Beach City line from Cedarport Navigation District, right?
Mhm.
That's why they put that line in for us with that hydrant. And if that hydrant was in place in Cedarport, had that hydrant in place for Beach City, that fire would have got extinguished. I mean, it was probably within a mile and a half of the home, right? It's real well positioned, so we need to look at that and how to upgrade different parts of our service areas or the service areas with at least a point, a high quality point to fill up, whether it's a tank system or something, right? So, right.
And I mean, I talked with Michelle at the ESD in Winnie, and they tried to look at getting, I think, a ladder truck. You're looking at years out to get a truck. It's kind of like our ambulances. We're years out. And you're talking about our ISO rating. I mean, we're building a 3-story structure here. We have multiple 3-story structures in Winnie. We have no ladder trucks here. Hancomer has one, but I mean, that has to affect our ratings. I mean,
Well, with the amount of apartments that are going into Commissioner Tice's precinct, 3-story apartment complexes, and multifamily, which which I know we talked about and we're concerned with, not having those ladder trucks and not having a water source, it's gonna be scary if something happens at a park complex.
So, I think that's something, we need to go look at, and that's the reason, Brian, you and I have spoke numerous times about paid firemen within mid-county, and then do it, and maybe something on the west side as well, a station over there, but we're gonna have to look to invest in the future in a ladder truck, a couple of ladder trucks, and what we need to get our firemen / paramedics, it's the same thing, to start making calls and working with our volunteers as a cohesive group.
Baytown and Mont Bellevue have ladder trucks?
Yes.
And that was one of the strategic decisions that Ryan and I got together with the city of Baytown in last court. We got together and we, for $300,000, we gave a large service there in the industrial complex and along the, just off the 3180 corridor to Station 6, which are all dual certified firefighter EMS. They have the capability to fight all those fires in either the 3 stories all the way down to the homes. And the response times, being a fully staffed station, are 3 to 5 minutes. It's incredible what they can do, and that's going to help out tremendously. So that was a good strategic decision. And the chiefs on that side were extremely beneficial to work with us and do that. And I think that's what Commissioner Hammond is saying. We just got to get these departments to understand that this isn't a fraternity, right? And you don't have all your bunch of clubs. And maybe some are thinking that way and some aren't, but we really need to all be in this together for safety, right? And we need to get them convinced that working together as a whole is going to be a whole lot more beneficial, and maybe start holding some of the funding teeth when we do that. So, power of the purse.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to accept the assessment.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Gore, second by Commissioner Tice.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Commissioners.
it.
Thank you, Judge.
All right. Any other questions, comments?
That was Gore and who?
Gore and Tice. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 17.1, discuss, consider approving purchase of equipment with the Operation Lone Star Grant funding. Sheriff, good morning.
17.
Judge, Commissioners, I'll be extremely brief because what I'm going to ultimately do is I'm going to turn it over to Chief Nate Shelton. He's chief over all my administrative services, handles our grants, and he also handles jail issues. But Judge, I'm going to just hit real quick. Operation Lone Star is a governor's grant that we operate doing everything from border security to transnational gangs on the interstate. And our drug interdiction program's been very successful. In-car stuff, I'm gonna let him explain real quick. And then our food services, so y'all know we're new jail operations moving into. We're also gonna try and upgrade our food services. One of the things that we've kind of noticed is our current food service. They've been really good for us for many, many years. But if y'all have ever noticed, we're really high in carbohydrates. Our inmates definitely don't lose any weight, all right? And so we're kind of trying to improve the food product and the food source of what we're going to, and we're actually moving into the direction of we're going to be cooking a lot more food in the jail versus having the kind of a pre-mixed stuff that we're using. So I'm going to turn it over to Nate. Nate, if you would.
Let me ask you one question,
You bet.
if you don't mind. I mean, I saw you had a guy in there on ice, hold from or at illegal.
All right.
What's our time on them picking them up?
Oh, quick. Oh yeah, they've always had them within 72 hours.
Okay.
But we're holding them usually for our court system to wrap up.
Okay.
All right, and then when our court system wraps up, we notify them they're here within 72 hours.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate the effort
bet.
y'all are putting on this too.
Chief.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
So the Operation Lone Star purchase is we've already been funded for the grant. So it's essentially 5 grapplers. I'm not sure if y'all have seen that or not, but they're pursuit intervention tools. They're essentially bumpers that go on the police cars that lower, and a net comes out and hits a tire and it'll wrap up the tire and stop pursuits, right? So which pursuits are one of our most risky things that we do. It's risk to the public, risk to our people. Obviously, it's important. So these are the first 5 that we're going to try out, see if how they pan out for the sheriff's office. And again, fully funded already. So
As it detaches from your vehicle?
it does. You could have an option to let it go or keep
Hold
it.
on. Okay.
But either way, the net wraps up the
Around the tire and the axle.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I've seen
pretty
some.
cool technology.
Pretty good.
Yeah. So, with that, there's an additional 5 mobile APHIS readers. I don't know if y'all know what that is, but fingerprinting people out in the field when they don't have a driver's license or an ID and they refuse to cooperate, because people are like that sometimes. It'll automatically tell the deputy who that is if they've been in the system and things like that. So, big things.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Dagley, second by Commissioner Tice. Any questions? Those in favor? Opposed, motion carries. 17.2, discuss and consider approving additional in-car camera equipment and service agreement with Utility Associates, Inc. Chief.
Yes, sir. So we are asking for 18 additional in-car cameras that have backseat cameras with them. We have room in our budget, but it adds to our current contract. We need those to obviously when we transport people to the jail. Having an eye on them is a big safety concern.
So move, Your Honor.
Motion by Commissioner Tice, second by Commissioner Gore. Questions? Those in favor? Opposed, motion carries. 17.3, discuss and consider termination of food services contract with 5 Star and approval of starting food services contract with Trinity Services.
As the sheriff alluded earlier, we've had some food quality concerns with our current vendor, and through the purchasing department, through George's office, we did RFPs and we nominated or selected Trinity Food Services. Just a couple things about them. They're providing a person in there that does inventory and quality control 5 days a week, which is huge, and that's a part of it. In addition to the price scale, it varies with the number of inmates. So when we move into a new building and we get more inmates, the price actually goes down per meal, which is a flexibility thing, as the county does.
We can do all this in-house stuff with the staff we have, sir.
We should be able to.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Dagley, second by Commissioner Gore. Any questions? Those in favor? Opposed, motion carries. Thank you, Chief.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
See you in a little bit.
We're down to consent. Precinct 1,
I'm good, Judge.
2,
Good.
3,
Good.
4.
I'm good, Judge.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Gore, second by Commissioner Tice. Those in favor? Opposed, motion carries. It's 10:44 a.m. We'll go to executive session under personnel, consultation with attorney, deliberation regarding real property and security devices at this time. Commissioner Court come to order after executive session, it's 11:40 a.m. No vote out of executive session, but I do need a motion to pull 19.25 off consent.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Dagley, second by Commissioner Hammond. Questions? That was, urged by the, Road and Bridge Department, engineering.
Totally out of them, right?
All right, those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. 11:40. We're adjourned.
Baby.
Come on.